What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Tompa Bay and ESPN 2K5. No gameplay in this episode, but we are going to jump into SportsCenter first and foremost. We're at the end of Season 1. Wanted to take a moment to do a little season recap. So we're going to throw it to Chris Berman in the studio for SportsCenter and kind of go over the last week after our great win over the Arizona Cardinals to go 13-3. So let's check out the rest of the news from around the league.
In SportsCenter.
I'm Chris Berman. Let's get straight to the action. In our first game this week, we had the Patriots stroll away with a 14-point win. In a long-standing NFC rivalry, we had the Panthers win their 5th game of the season. The Vikings won this contest, but will stay at the 3rd place in the NFC North. Morton Anderson stepped it up this week and gave his team some added firepower for the win. Eddie George had over 50 yards receiving and helped his Titans beat the Lions. In the Big Apple, New York, we had the Giants get sent away with a 7-point loss. Dolphins, Ravens. Kyle Bowler calling signals at his own 40-yard line, rolls, then fires a slant. Look at him go! He could go all the way. 60-yard score! The Ravens win this one by the final score of 24-17. We had an interesting free agency pickup of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris. Let's switch gears and talk about players that'll have new homes in the National Football League, as free agency continues to play such a huge role in determining a team's makeup. Justin Fargas is going to find himself with a new club, and he'll be in a new tax bracket too. 6 years, $5.4 million, plus a $1.0 million signing bonus. Goodman is on the move as he gets a contract for what can only be referred to as crazy money. 4 years, $2.1 million. Sam Brandon got snatched up as well, and he signs a 2-year contract with the Panthers. This week had some big injuries, and we'll get to all of them, but we're going to start right here. This guy is arguably the biggest name on this list. It's a broken hand, and the doctors are saying he'll be out for the rest of the regular season. On to the serious news of the week. Todd Heap had to be placed on injured reserve this week, and his loss will hurt both the passing and the rushing game for his team. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you.
Up in Ralph Wilson Stadium, we had the Bills walk away with a 6-point victory. The Buccaneers booted in 3 field goals in their victory at Tempe, Arizona. The Packers won on the road and end their season on a high note. Jaguars, Raiders. Rich Loose Gannon calling signals at his own 40-yard line, rolls, then fires a slant. Look at him go! He could go all the way. 60-yard score! The Raiders go on to win this by the final score of 17-13. The Seahawks lost this one, but will stay at number 1 in the NFC West. Chad Johnson stepped it up this week and gave his team some added firepower for the win. Jeff Garcia threw for 2 touchdowns and helped his Browns beat the Texans. Right on the Mississippi River in St. Louis, we had the Rams come away with a 7-point win. And in our final game, we had the Colts come away victorious.
All right, Chris, thanks. All right, folks, our playoff picture has now been officially finalized. So let's take a look at it now, shall we? We'll begin with a look at the AFC. Meanwhile, over in the NFC, the playoff picture looks like this. So there you have it, the regular season now in the books. Time to see which of these 12 teams will emerge as Super Bowl champs. We'll get it started for you on ESPN next weekend. And that'll do it from here. Chris, let's send it back over to you.
And then there were 12, the playoffs, right around the corner, which means it's time for our regular season awards. But first, my primetime players. The final round of game balls go to these Warriors, each with a standout performance in the final game of the regular season. All right, as promised, here's a look at this year's best of the best, our season-ending NFL awards. Matt Hasselbeck, without a doubt, is going to take home the hardware in this one. You see the numbers on your screen, but numbers really don't tell the whole story. Leadership, work ethic, love of the game, that's what truly makes him stand out. he had without question the best year of anyone. Peyton Manning has got to be our choice for Offensive Player of the Year, and you've got to be hard-pressed to find better numbers than that. Obviously, give a lot of credit to the rest of the offense, but this is the guy that was driving the car, so to speak. Brian Dawkins gets the nod as our Defensive Player of the Year, and I'll tell you what, there was no one better at taking quarterbacks and receivers alike completely out of their game. Great season. Ben Roethlisberger comes away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. You know, it's very difficult to come straight from college, be handed the keys to an NFL offense, but he stepped in and did a bang-up job. Watch out, he's only going to get better with age. Jason Babin was our Defensive Rookie of the Year. Hard to think of any young linebacker with better instincts for the football than he has. He wins it in a landslide. Edgerrin James ran away with the rushing title this year. Talk about a threat out of the backfield, my friends. Finesse, speed, a surprising amount of power, which he used to bowl over the few who actually managed to lay a finger on him. What a year. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
First and foremost, we're going to go through the results of the season. We start off the year 2-0, beating Washington and Seattle before losing to the Oakland Raiders. We would then win 3 in a row before losing 2 straight, which felt like a little bit of an uh-oh moment. But after we lost those 2 straight, Chicago bye week, Kansas City, we rattled off nothing but wins for the rest of the season. You can see here, kind of not against the best competition, so we're looking forward to playing some of the better teams in the NFL going into the playoffs. Tom Brady had a great season for us, very reminiscent of his numbers up until now, 3,600, nearly 3,700 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions at 9.1 yards per attempt. Pretty good for Tom Brady in his first year with the Tompa Bay Buccaneers. We'll zoom out now, take a look at Brian Griese's numbers because he's the only other guy that got any other playing time. It was that one weird game where Tom came up with food poisoning but ended up coming into the game a little bit later. Our running backs, our leading running back for the season was Mike Alstott. He had 832 yards, 5.3 yards per carry, and 12 touchdowns. You'll see that's one of the league leading numbers this season. And then Charlie Gardner, 793 yards just behind Mike, 9 total touchdowns, and then also 348 yards through the air with a receiving touchdown as well. So zooming out, Michael Pittman got a decent amount of carries. He played a couple of games replacing Charlie for both injury and for conserving for injury, so he ended up with 252 total yards. He got a touchdown as well. Tom rushed for a couple of touchdowns, and Jamel White actually ended up in the end zone as well. Charlie Gardner, you can see there, had a 2-point conversion. Moving to our wide receivers, our rookie, Michael Clayton, strong season, nearly 1,000 yards, 973 and 7 total touchdowns. We're looking forward to continued big things from him. One of our veterans, Joey Galloway, in his 10th year, almost a career best, 704 total yards and 4 total touchdowns. A great job by him. It's hard to not be good when you got Tom Brady throwing to you. Keenan McCardell missed 4 games with injury, still managed 682 yards and 5 total touchdowns. He is a reliable option while he is out there. Looking at the rest of the team, Charlie Gardner is the next receiver after that, and then Ken Dilger, Charles Lee, and then Dan Moore, or Dave Moore, one of the two, followed by Mike Alstott making a bunch of yards. You can see down at the bottom there, Dave Moore was a touchdown favorite, as was Charles Lee. 6 touchdowns for him, 4 for the latter. And then you can see the rest of the team stats right there. Derek Brooks was our leading tackler for the year. Now, I like to count tackles and assists together because the game doesn't, and our tackle numbers are always going to be lower than the rest of the league. Simeon Rice, though, a career high in sacks with 19, nearly getting to the magical 20 mark, and also 33 tackles to boot, so a good year from him. And then Victor Green led the team in interceptions with 4 of those things, so a decent signing for us to go and get Victor Green in the offseason beforehand. You can see if you zoom out here, we had closer to, let's say, quick math, 80 tackles for Derek Brooks with 3 total sacks on the year. And then if you zoom over to total sacks, Kenny Holmes, who we also signed in free agency, had 7 sacks. Derek Brooks had those 3, McFarland 2.5, Russell 1.5. So that's the rest of our defensive line. And then going over to interceptions, Victor had 4. Charlie Clemens, remember him from the last game? He had 3 interceptions, tying Smith and Barber in the secondary. So probably like the least amount of takeaways I've had from a secondary in a series yet. So that's an interesting wrinkle here. Martin Gramatica is a very good kicker. He was very, very good this year. He made 88% of his field goals, 21 for 24, including a long of 51 yards. So good job by Martin. We look forward to having him as our kicker for a minute. Josh Bidwell was our punter. I don't know. I don't have any complaints about Josh Bidwell, so good job by him as well. Mark Jones, our rookie out of Tennessee, was both our kick return specialist and our punt return specialist. I would say he was a better punt returner than kick returner, but kick returning in this game is hard as it is. Now going to the league leaders, the MVP, Matt Hasselbeck, 4,200 yards on 64% completion. Peyton, the only other quarterback to break 4,000 this year. He also had the most touchdowns, 32 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Peyton, the offensive MVP, was 31 and 6. The rushing title winner, Edgerrin James, 1,700 yards. A lot of running backs getting over 1,200 yards here. You can see a bunch of guys up there. And then if you flip over to touchdowns, Priest Holmes had the most at 14, but then Mike Allstott getting up there on the list with 12. He was a reliable runner for us in the goal line. He also would break off some crazy runs and do his thing that way. Michael Clayton making the top list of receivers this year, only about 6 or so by my count, made it over 1,000 yards. Marvin Harrison being the top receiver. Steve Smith, though, over in Carolina, got 12 total touchdowns this season. Lee Evans, traded from the Bills to the Seahawks, had 11 touchdowns for his team. John Mobley led the league in tackles with 126 total tackles. That is not so bad. Those assist numbers seem crazy, but that's where they are. Simeon Rice actually led the league in sacks this year. No other defender got above 14.5 sacks. It's actually pretty rare, but Simeon had 19 to lead the league. Brian Dawkins and Peanut Tillman led the league in interceptions this year, taking in 9 of those things apiece. Samari Roll was right behind them with 8. Mike Vanderjagt, who was traded to the Browns this year, ended up being a really great asset for the Browns. He hit 20 out of 20 out of his field goals to lead the league. You see Martin Gramatica was in 3rd place there, and then Billy LaFleur did a whole bunch of punting for the Jets, and he was good at it with the best net average of all punters. Wilson McGahee brought 2 kickoffs to the house this year, with a bunch of other guys getting 1. I like to highlight the touchdowns from return, and then Peanut Tillman. What a number. I've never seen 5 before. So a lot of firsts in this Tompa Bay series. Now we're going to go through our placement in the league in terms of offensive stats. We were 3rd in the league in total offensive yardage. Only the Seahawks and the Colts were better than us. That's not surprising. It's the 2 guys that won MVP and offensive MVP. We were 4th in rushing. The Packers and the Chiefs vault above us there if we're talking about total yards rushed. And then we jump up to that was pass offense. Both were 4th, though. Rush offense is 4th and pass offense is 4th. So for defense, we have we're in 1st place for total defense. We're in 1st place for total pass defense. And guess what? We're also in 1st place for total rush defense. So we were number 1 with a bullet against all 3 phases of offense this year. I'm just counting special teams as well, since we didn't really give up any special teams touchdowns. We're more in the middle of the league in 3rd down conversion. 61% puts us at 15th. First downs overall, we're also kind of in the middle of the league. I didn't realize that was first downs. I don't have that written down on my sheet. So middle of the league for first downs, middle of the league for 3rd down conversions. That's 61% right there. We vault up to 7th in the league. When we talk about 4th down conversions, we converted, 4 out of 5 is 80%. So I guess that puts us high up, even though we have a smaller sample size than most. But that probably means, we're 1st in red zone percentage. So 98% of the time when we're in the red zone, we score. That's pretty damn good. Only the Titans and the Patriots can sniff that. And then our defensive red zone percentage is pretty good too. We end up in 5th behind the Bears, Colts, Lions, Titans, and Seahawks. So 73% of the time inside of the 20, they're scoring. Checking in on some players that started on this roster. Ellis Wims actually had a decent year over in Houston. He's only a 63 overall, but he had 71 tackles and 3 sacks. And Brian Johnson did not play 1 snap this year. He's just going to make some money backing up Jake Plummer over in Denver. And then Jason Whittle, we cut him to create some cap room. He ended up getting scooped up by the Detroit Lions. If there's any other players that you're curious about that we cut that I forgot, feel free to throw it in the comments. So here's the wild card matchup. We've got Denver playing Buffalo, Baltimore playing Oakland, New York playing Green Bay, and St. Louis playing Seattle. And we're going to find out who won those matchups in the beginning of the next episode. So I'm going to leave you on a little cliffhanger here. You don't know who we're playing until the next episode gets posted. So if you're ready for it, like the video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It would be an honor, honestly. And it's an honor if you're still watching at this point. So thanks for hanging out. This is PNS 24/7. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.